Marvel Rivals cannot be taken serious. And I have 3 main reasons why this game cannot be taken serious. Or the main reason why this game in general. So like, why this game in general can't be taken serious. The first 2 reasons are basically the community in this game, the game design, and I think the last reason I'm going to give is the creators in this game, which basically are the content creators like myself. Now the first reason, like I said, is the game design. We really know, or if you play this game and you take it somewhat serious, I'm going to tell you to stop taking it serious, because they have proven time and time again that they're only catering Marvel Rivals to casual players. And when I mean casual players, I'm not talking about people that play this game. Like, I play this game on only like 2 hours a day. I'm talking about like players that play this like around, it's like, I'm gonna guess 4 to 7 hours a day, or whenever they just basically use all their free time on Marvel Rivals. And I'm gonna explain it right now. Like, you get a picture, the people that play Marvel Rivals on like the basic casual level are people that just play games in general. Like, they play a little bit Marvel Rivals and they play other games as well. Marvel Rivals isn't their main game. They don't have a Magic or a Marvel Rivals hero as a profile picture. They don't really interact with the community that much. Most of their takes on this game are kind of like true statements where like they're objectively true. Like, they will say like triple support is busted, this game is unfair, the matchmaking system in this game doesn't exist. You know, stuff like that, that like, it's basic true statements, and they don't really take this game all that serious. I'm not talking about those casual players. I'm talking about casual players, like I said, that play 4 to 7 hours on their free time playing this game. And these players usually think they're correct, or they know what they're talking about simply because they play this game. They're dealing with a lot of frustrations. But just because they have an experience doesn't mean their statements are correct or true in any sense. They're only true in the sense that it applies to their reality, not ours. So when someone complains and they're on console, that might necessarily apply to PC lobbies. Honestly, I forgot what reason I started off with, but basically I'm trying to say that the community in this game makes the game not be taken serious at all. Because you hear a lot of takes where people are saying that like, oh, my teammates are always throwing, or I get bad teammates, or Marvel Rivals isn't that bad if I get competent teammates that go a 2-2-2 formation and we get a invis, and like, you know, people really be saying like the most basic stuff all the time. But the only reason why they say this stuff is because, like I said, it's only applying to their reality. So whatever games they play on the casual level, they think is like, it has to be the definitive truth for everyone else. But this is what I mean. Like, they go to stuff even further, because not only do they have these strong opinions of what they believe is broken, what they believe is to be true in this game, they go to a step further by basically getting mad at the other players, basically becoming heated, basically changing their behavior all around their beliefs, in the sense that, let's say for example, you go, like, I made a short saying like you should go triple, not saying that you should go triple DPS, but basically saying that triple DPS is okay to go in Marvel Rivals. And most people were saying that like, I'm either coping, or they're basically giving like factual statements saying like, oh, the most successful formation is usually 1 DPS, 2 tanks, and 3 healers. But people really are missing the point that just because you see triple DPS doesn't mean that the game is instantly lost. And their hidden message was basically saying that like, the people on your team is the reason why triple support doesn't work, not that triple DPS doesn't work. Because people in your team would actively try to sabotage, either subconsciously or unconsciously ruin the game. And what I mean by this, for example, let's say you go Adam Warlock as a healer. As soon as someone sees Adam Warlock, their brain instantly just switches to just throwing. Like, you ever seen like people make the conclusion that Marvel Rival players have the weakest mentals? Because as soon as they lose one team fight, they just want to give up and throw, go on Widow, and basically type in GG, no heals, and just start throwing the match. That's how people treat Adam Warlock. That's how people treat triple DPS. They don't give it a chance. They just throw. And what I'm really trying to say is that people, legitimately these casual players that don't know what they're talking about, but their experience is true that like, yes, they're casual. They don't really have a lot of time to just practice every day like unemployed people, or people that are just have more time on their hands, or people that just know more about the game. But the only reason why they're not dangerous, but the only reason why they basically have a louder voice is because it's the majority of them in this community. And it just makes the game like insufferable to play. Because it's one thing to have them on TikTok or on YouTube or on Twitter basically talking about how this game is unbalanced and have garbage normie takes. And I don't mean that in a personal sense, I just mean that in a game sense. Like, as a player, they don't know what they're talking about. But it starts affecting you when you're actually playing the game, because these players will be in your lobby. And for example, on my I'm probably gonna show right now on the screen. I'm probably like I think around level 58, and I only taken this game serious around like 3 to 4 seasons where I reached DM and Celestial, I think once, and that's where like I play rank just to get a high rank. But people in that I meet are usually around level 180, level 60. You know, people that are high level, and sometimes people on their ult accounts, but we'll be in the same rank. They will have like multiple Lord icons, multiple champion icons on certain heroes, and they would try to explain to me or basically try to lecture me about like, don't know what I'm talking about. You know what? Like, objectively, they should know more than me since they have more time. But the thing about it is that I'm not trying to flex like, oh, I have less hours and I'm still in the same rank as you. That means I'm better. That means I know what I'm talking about. But these players, like, it's like when someone tries to lecture you about life, even though they're like 30 and they're in the same position in the same place in life as you, and they're trying to lecture you about jobs, even though you guys are working the same 9 to 5 job. It is what I mean. Like, these players, like, I'm supposed to take these players seriously. Like, bro, we're in the same rank, and you've been here way longer than me. You've been probably doing the same mistakes as me. Like, and I'm supposed to take you serious. And most of these players, Marvel Rivals is probably like their third or their first competitive game where they try to take serious. And this is what I mean. Like, I just can't take them serious at all. And it's not really like what they say. It's basically how they try to manipulate. I can't even pronounce it right, but these people that basically end up affecting your game. And this kind of ties into like, I'm basically just gonna wrap this up. When now that their behavior is changing in game, if you try to take it serious, this is most likely what's gonna happen. The moment you finally figure out how to get out of GM, the moment you finally figure out how to improve, how to play as a team, not just go triple support and hoping for the best, or locking in a 2-2-2 formation and hoping that this is objectively the best formation that was always gonna work and it's gonna help me get out of Celestial or GM. The moment you figure out what actually matters and how to actually climb in this game, your teammates aren't gonna be the ones to help you get out of there. But they're actually gonna be the make or break when it comes to climbing out. You're gonna be the main reason, but they're gonna play like also a little role, but also like a role where like if you don't have a good team, it doesn't matter how good of a player you are, you're gonna lose. Because all it takes is people, the opposite team, to be somewhat better than your team to just absolutely dominate, and you won't win the game at all. Like you see multiple times people have like a lot of kills, they will be carrying, but most of the times they end up losing because their team just wasn't good. How many games have you lost when like your tank player just isn't that good, even though they have a champion or lore icon, and you're running a balanced team composition and you guys still lose, and the enemy team DPS wasn't that good and you were out fragging them, and you guys still end up losing. This is what I mean. Like, the moment you try to take it serious, the players, their mindset, everything about them, you can't like I said, you can't, like, what was that analogy most people make? It's like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink it. It's basically like this when it comes to this community in this game. Now, my second reason is the game design. And if you know, like, I think I'm gonna post it right here if I find it. But someone made a comment where they were basically saying like, this game cannot be taken serious because the way they designed it is basically making it so you don't have to take it serious. And he was basically saying like, I think Moon Knight supports, all they have to do is just look whatever's in front of them, just shoot in main, and that's it. So if you're Moon Knight, you just look at the enemy team, look in main, and just shoot and just get a lot of value, get a lot of damage, build up your ult fast, and that's it. Or if you're a support, just lock in invis, look at your team, look at your tank. I mean, just look at whatever's in front of you, tank, just heal them, keep healing them, keep popping that shield, keep popping that, I don't even know what other abilities she has. You're getting dove, just jump away. Someone's trying to box you, pop your shield on yourself. You know, just simple stuff like that. It doesn't really incentivize high skill performance. You know, it just really incentivizes simple gameplay and doesn't really like scream like, oh, this complex, is very like high skill ceiling. I think the only thing high skill is trying to master these simple aspects of the game. But the thing that really doesn't make it serious is that anyone can pick it up. Doesn't matter if you never play support in your life and you're a DPS player or a tank player, you can pick up support, it probably do easily as well. But this is gonna go further with like, since this guy was also saying in the comments where like it kind of incentivizes players not to try, this is like the biggest thing. Because if Marvel Revival keeps catering to bad players or casual players, it makes it so these players get used to not being good at the game, if that makes sense. Like, since they're not getting pushed or challenged to get better, and they're actually getting like basically catered and coddled to, they're gonna get so used to it, they become entitled, if that makes sense. They become entitled to easy heroes. Why do you think when Jubilee came out, she wasn't your traditional just primary fire heal bot? people were saying she was bad. People were saying like, oh yeah, she doesn't work in certain comps. It's because people don't know how to play. People aren't used to just pushing up with your healers, pushing up with your tanks as a support, and trying to heal, trying to cycle between your orbs, trying to cycle between your shift, between your E where you blind the teammate. Like people aren't used to that kind of stuff. They're just used to basic stuff of just healing whatever in front of them. Same thing with DPS, just going poke right now is really poke has always been strong, but like example Moon Knight, just using your onks in the most basic way, getting a lot of damage, getting a lot of pressure on the enemy team. All this stuff is just incentivizing just simple gameplay. And when people get used to this, they just become so entitled to just simple heroes. But I don't think DPS players can be, or DPS heroes can be said that much about them, simply because I think when it comes to DPS players are willing to bite the bullet in terms of being bad at the game, in terms of not being that particularly good, but still forcing because it's fun, if that makes sense. Like you always run into that Spider-Man man. Like I think he knows deep down that he's bad at the game, but he wants to get better at it, keep trying, and not to give up. That is what I mean. Like these players, doesn't matter if Marvel Rivals keeps making easy or complicated heroes, they're always there no matter what. But the support players or the players that are really coddled to, like the Moon Knight players or the players that play simple heroes like Squirrel Girl, if they don't get coddled to, if they don't get catered to, they're gonna end up quitting the game. Because they're not here for a long time, they're here for a good time. So they're not really, they just want simple, easy to use heroes. And this kind of ties into my first point about the community being very like casual and can't be taken serious, is that when you combine these two, when the game's design and the player's mentality, their entitlement, this is where it becomes really bad. Because not only are they used to simple heroes, now they're used to like simple, easy to use supports and simple to easy to use DPS. The moment, like not even netties themselves, the people that make this game, the players on their team try to force them to play it a different way, is when they ultimately end up folding like a lawn chair. For example, let's say you have two support players on your team that are main support. They have like, I'm just gonna say Invis and Cloak and Dagger. The moment you try to make them play something they're not used to, let's say like you want to push up more, there's a good chance they end up dying way more often. And they actually end up getting more tilted at you because they're dying more often. Like, can we not play this way? Okay, like we supports are getting dove in the backline. We're not getting peeled, even though you guys are running a dive comp, even though you guys are maybe playing more aggressive. These players don't like being forced to play in different creative ways. That's why most of them end up really just being toxic towards players that try to play a different way. And this kind of ties into my other point when they were saying like people don't like triple DPS because when they see triple DPS, that's basically forcing them to play in a different way. Like, and I don't like this either in the grand sense that like when I'm in ranked, nobody ever uses a mic and we're going and I'm always like solo queuing. There's gonna be like once in a blue moon game when everyone is using their mics and people are trying to run like simple setups, like everyone's using the mic and they're like, yo, can I get this team up and let's run a formation where like you go Venom, I'll go Mag, and they're basically trying to force you to play a certain way. The thing about it is like I always get into this argument, like, should I listen to them? Is this the argument where like, should I be doing this in order to win or should I just be doing this for my own fun? Like, you know what I mean? Like, well, that was just like a little tangent, but that's what I'm trying to say. Like this game, the way it's designed, the players, all of it just screaming, just you cannot take this serious because the people in the community don't make sense. The game mechanics is basically trying to force people to not make any sense. It just is all over the place. And the last point is basically, well, not the last point. The last point is going to be more of a point I didn't say out loud. But a third point is going to be the content creators in this community. Now, I'm not trying to say they're bad. I'm not trying to do personal attacks saying like they're weird or they don't know what they're talking about. This all comes from the sense of we're just talking in internet. We're just talking online and we're just talking about the game. Now, some of these content creators like straight up I'm not saying any names because I don't even look at their names. I just like watch them and that's it. I'm not really like favoring their videos, trying to see who's on my watch list for who I can talk shit about. It's more about like who can I, what can I get from this and basically form my opinions from. But one of the main things I see is that people are prioritizing target bans in rank. For example, let's say I think I saw a TikTok, I forgot what it was, but it was something along the lines of like they were basically banning not Hela. I think it was Cyclops. I think Daredevil or like I think it was Phoenix. And I mean I think they were banning like all the top DPS because they're objectively the best DPS players out there with the highest win rates. And the thing is like their teammate, one of his teammates wanted to be one of those heroes and they were like, bro, why are you target banning me? He's like, oh, don't take it personal, it's just for the game. I want to win. I don't know how to play against these players. And the thing about it is like, this is what I mean. Like there's a bunch of people always agreeing with these type of takes, and there's a bunch of people that like this type of content. Like they agree with it. It speaks to them. But for me, like it really shows you like people are really just hypocrites. Not just the content creator itself. I'm talking about the whole community as a general. Like this is tying into all my points, mostly the first one, where it's like people are just straight up hypocrites in this game. The moment they don't want to play against something, they want to have their best way of how they want to play this game is all fine, because they're all using the logical, objectively correct reason, like, oh, this is the most broken hero and I don't want to play against it. And this is all for the win because we're playing ranked, and this is objectively why you're playing ranked is to win, right? And I'm like, they have a point, but like most of the times they end up doing way too much, if that makes sense. And like I'm gonna finish up my point saying they're hypocrites is like they want people to play a certain way so they don't have to like be forced to adapt or basically lose the game, because that's their reason. But the moment you try to force them to play a certain way, they do not want to cooperate. They want to sabotage. They want to just throw. They just want to turn off their brains. Once they see something they don't like, they just don't want to play the game at all. And this is what I mean. Like this whole community cannot be taken serious. People will say, don't go triple DPS because we're going to lose the game. You're basically throwing if you're going triple DPS. But people won't say anything about triple support. And you know what's crazy? When people that actually know how to rank up in this game are actually good. And so I've seen actually TikToks about it. People aren't that clueless. They're just saying, why are we going triple support? We need more damage. We need more consistent frontlining. Like stop going this easy bail out, like jail, like free bail, get out of jail card. I don't even know what I'm saying, but these simple to use supports to make up for your lack of skill. Like stop going this triple support. Look, when we need something else, stop trying to hide behind your stats that you went just support and you did the best healing you could and you had a good healing stats. Like what the team really needs is like another tank or another DPS, not this triple support garbage. And this is what I'm really trying to say is that like people are just straight up hypocrites in this game, because most of them don't want to adapt to gameplay but expect others to adapt to it all the time. And the thing about it is that like even like people try to use this unwritten rule, like since we're playing Marvel Rivals and queue into rank, we always gotta have a balanced team comp. I'm like, brother, what? Like this game is known for not having role queue. Don't get play. Like if I were to go in a rank game and I see quadruple DPS, I would just be like, you know what? They're all within their rights to do that. This game doesn't have role queue. This game has a lot of broken abilities where they take some skill, but they also provide a lot of value. Even if it requires a lot of skill, they provide way too much value. Like this game has shown us multiple times that it can't be taken serious. And going back to that, what I was saying about that person banning their teammates pick, all for the greater good, because they don't want to go up against it and basically end up having a hard time and basically losing that match. You know what? Like, I guess if you want to go for the win, that's their objective way of not suffering and wanting to win. That's like the point they can have. But it's crazy because like I bet if you try to do this to them, like I bet if you try to do this in another way, in another sense of context, most people aren't gonna be willing enough to go through it. If that makes sense. Like let's say like I don't know, I can't think of an analogy right now, but most people like think about an analogy where like you have to basically sabotaging your teammates all for the sole purpose of winning the game. And it's justified because you're going to win the game at the end. And you're making the game more winnable. But the thing is, this is like Marvel Rivals, like I said. There's no written rules where you have to go a good support, where you have to go a certain DPS in order. Like, there's no rules against that. That's why if you go Widow and you're doing bad, doesn't mean that you're throwing. Doesn't mean that you're not that particularly good, or basically, like, there's no rules against it. But people really try to, like, play this like objectively true, like, oh, but we're all doing this for to win the game. But if you have a certain idea of how to win the game, people don't want to do it. I think this is probably my weakest point, but it's probably the points where like I hope so. Hopefully someone can understand what I'm trying to say. But my last point, I just realized that I don't really have a last point. I think mostly I can do now is just stand on everything I said, especially on the last point where like these content creators and Marvel Rivals is basically making this game unserious. Like you just can't take this game serious in terms of some of its creators, the people that play this game, people that interact with their social media, and the people that make this game as well. They basically are promoting this game not to be taken serious. And to wrap this all up, I'm going to talk about more personal experience that I dealt with in this game, which is I played support, which I'm mostly a DPS player. But when I played support, like I would deal with so many bad DPS players, not like ones that like don't know how to play the game. Like I do run into those, but most of these players that I meet straight up like DPS players are straight up just toxic, and I know I know what support players mean now when they get basically told they're not healing even though they're not getting peeled for, even though no one's doing anything to help them. Like I had like 2 dive players that straight up just went in the enemy backline and tried to like basically just do their job. But it's crazy because the enemy team tried to do the same thing to us, and they banned Invis, Cloak and Dagger, I think even Luna Snow. They basically banned all 3 good supports to basically just counter them, to just basically avoid being counterpicked. Or yeah, basically being countered. So I went Ultron and Anna Warlock, and they were getting basically mad at me for like not healing. Or basically going support that isn't that particularly good at healing. But all the time they could have just played more as a team, try to, you know, peel for me or something. But nah, most of these players are straight up. As soon as they don't get heals, they basically make the most brain dead take you ever heard. Basically saying, yeah, we're not getting heals. Like none of this makes any sense. And like I'm saying, well, my last point about like these players straight up trying to like justify their reason, like if their whole reason is to be like, I'm making the best decision why I think it's best, which basically is banning top tier meta picks, fine, you know, if that's your reasoning, then I'm gonna do my reasoning, which I think is the best way to win this game. And the thing is, like, most of them trying to do objective truths, like I said, like to justify why they do it, but that I feel like all of them are just hiding between what they want to see or what they don't want to deal with personally. Because if I were to say, yo, the best DPS right now is this, the best hero is this, the best support is this, we should all be rocking this formation, I bet nobody's gonna want to listen to me or even try to like follow that advice, because no one is trying to play this game simply because there's an objective hero to play. Let's say Wanda was objectively the best hero in the game, and she was the best DPS hero right now. You think every DPS hero is gonna pick that? You think you think Wanda's gonna be 100% picked in every ranked game? And let's say I try to use the argument like, oh, this is the best way to win. If you're not picking this, you're basically throwing the game. No one's gonna be like, bro, we're not listening to you. We're just gonna play whatever we want and try our best. Like, that's what I mean. Like, people try to enforce trying to take this game serious, but then have a lot of like holes in their arguments or their reasoning for trying to be serious. Like, all I'm trying to say is that you should not take this game serious. You should just play whatever you want. Play this game however you want. If you want to go triple support, I don't care. If you want to go triple DPS, by all means. If you want to be a good player, quote unquote a good player, a player that goes the right formation, 2 tanks, 2 DPS, 2 supports, go ahead. Because I do that too. If I get a good team that actually knows what they're doing, I'll go the second tank, even though I don't really play tank, or go the second support, or go support first. Like, it all depends on the context of the situation. Depending on if you get non-toxic and players that actually want to know what they're doing and actually want to win. But this whole thing about, like, I feel like content creators out there really try to, like, I don't know how to say it. They really try to instill that this game has to be taken serious. Like, they know what they're talking about. But same thing with the people that play this game that aren't content creators. Try to be like, oh, my truth is the definitive truth, and I know what I'm talking about. Like, bro, like, I'm gonna tell you right now, these people do not know what they're talking about.